Why, hello. It's been a minute. It's been a little while since we made a video. The Titan Bros, they're back. And I was going to say better than ever, but I think we're beat down by the Tennessee Titans and their shenanigans. What do you think of my intro, buddy?
Cringy.
Yeah, it was awful, wasn't it? Well, here's what the problem is. StreamYard, for those of you who don't know, used to you could play intros and outros and things like that with the free version of StreamYard, but a couple months ago they took that away. So I did a free trial for a couple of months, but my free trial's over with. So now we just got cold starts and cold outros, and so you're just gonna have to get used to the cringe because I didn't want to just start and go, "Hi, welcome in," but here we are. So yeah, it's been about a month since we made a video because the Tennessee Titans suck. Titans are terrible. They're unwatchable. And there wasn't much to say.
Yeah, last Sunday, I guess, was actually, to be honest, this is usually what I think, but Gabriel actually said it before me. We was watching the game, and I looked at him. He looked so bored, and then he looked at me, and he's like, "I am not having any fun whatsoever." Like,
here's the thing. I'm a busy man, busy fella, and I have so many things I need to do. And when I'm spending 3 hours of my weekend just watching the screen like that, watching the Titans just humiliate themselves, it's just like I just got things I got to do. But this video is not really going to be a Chiefs preview because I think the Chiefs probably want to lose, and I think the Titans probably want to lose. So it's not really what we're going to be up to necessarily. Just doing a nice, good old fashioned preview of the Chiefs Titans game. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie to you. As a guy who wants to lose out, I'm a little worried about this game because I think Titans are playing a little bit better. I'm not trying to say we're amazing, but we're playing a little bit better. And Chiefs, I think one, they're gonna be deflated. One, because they're out of playoff picture. Two, because they lost Mahomes, and they're just not as good because they don't have Mahomes. That I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, here's a good question we can start off with, and you may need to think about it for a second because I'm just kind of springing it on you. Do you think, and I don't even know what my answer is yet, there's a higher chance, if you can only choose one of these, is there a higher chance that the Titans win out and beat the Gardner Minshew-led Chiefs, the Tyler Shuck, old Shucky Duck
He
here?
doesn't look bad, to be honest.
He has been awful. They won the last 2 games in a row, actually. Anyways,
I
beat
think
them.
He's looked best of all the quarterbacks they've had, but go ahead.
And then beat the Jags, who may be resting all of their starters because they have nothing else to play for. So is it more likely that happens or the Titans lose all 3 of those games? So basically the question, a quicker way to say it is, what's a higher chance? Titans win out or lose out?
Even though we're playing better football, I'm going to say it's more likely for us to lose out. Because can you see this team winning 3 games in a row? I've watched us do a lot of losing 3 games in a row, but I have not seen us win 3 games in a row in a long time.
Yeah, I kind of have trouble seeing the Titans just win, period. But like you said, and like I've been saying as well, we don't look like the team at the beginning of the season that could only score 13 points.
No,
who got shut out by the Texans, who last time we played the Jags only scored 3 points. Like, we don't look like that team anymore. I mean, we beat the Browns scoring 31. We lost to the Seahawks, and then we lost to the 49ers scoring 24 points in both of those games. Like, we're actually scoring some points, which is crazy to say. You know?
Right now, our defense is trash.
Yeah, and I'm not even upset about our defense because our number 1 edge rushers were supposed to be Draymount Jones and Femi Oladejo, and they haven't been playing. So it's been Arden Key and Jihad Ward. Our number 1, 2, 3, and 4 cornerback has been missing the last couple of games in L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary. What's the one guy? Jarvis Brownlee Jr. And then even Jalen Armour Davis has been out. So we're just, as of now, our starting cornerbacks have been Marcus Harris, 6th round rookie in the slot. And then we've got Darrell Baker, And then I don't even know which cornerback we're having start on the other side. I know we've been playing a lot of 3 safety formations, but we can't even do that anymore because Kevin Winston's out. But yeah, our defense, I ain't worried about the defense. And by worried about it, I mean like there's nothing for me to actually care for or monitor with the defense because that's not even our team. It's not going to be anything like that next year, for better or for worse.
I think we've said that the last like 3 seasons.
Yeah, I will say that's kind of a narrative that's not really working because a lot of people, all the Vrabel haters, would always say, you know, the Tennessee Titans, their injury luck is so bad because Vrabel pushes them way too hard in practice. But now that he's been gone for 2 years, clearly that's not really the problem because our injuries haven't really gotten any much, if any, better under the Callahans.
Apparently, we just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, apparently not. Even people like apparently Xavier Woods just never misses games, and Kevin Zeitler never misses games. They've both missed games this year. So I don't know what it's about in Tennessee, but people get hurt.
Don't go to Nashville if you want to stay like healthy.
Yeah, agreed. I know we have a really bad delay going on right now, but that's all right. So let me answer the question. Now, maybe this is bold of me to say, but I think there's a higher chance the Titans win out than lose out. Obviously, that I don't think either is going to happen. But sadly, I really do think the Jags. I don't know why I said sadly because we have no shot at it. But I think the Jags will have the division locked up possibly by that last game. So then Trevor Lawrence ain't going to play. Brian Thomas Jr. is not going to play. Jacoby Myers is not going to play. Who they just signed up for a 3-year. I think it was $60 million. So he's making $20 million a year to keep him around. If they're resting their starters, we could definitely beat them. Saints, very, 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 very beatable. And then the Chiefs, they just have nothing to play for, and they're going to be so deflated.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see us winning 3 games in a row. That's what I keep going to, and to be honest, if I was a bet man, I'm going to say we'll win one of those 3 games, and I hate that, but you do. I mean, you're right. This is not the toughest 3 games.
I hate to say it like this, but I have a bad feeling we're going to win 2 out of the last 3. I think we're going to beat the Chiefs.
That would kill our draft stock.
It would. I think we're going to beat the Chiefs, and I think we're going to beat the backups of the Jaguars in the last game of the season.
See, I don't think the Jags will be playing the backups.
You don't think so? Even if they
The
have
Texans
division
look
locked
very
up?
good. Like they're the hottest team. I think the Texans are like one of the hottest teams in the league right now. So they're coming fast behind the Jags. So I think it's going to be, like honestly, Jags could do some damage in the playoffs. If you ask me. Not Jags, the Texans. So I think the Jags and Texans are going to be still fighting it, for the division.
The Texans are definitely going to win this week because they're going against the Raiders. But then they got the Chargers. And then they finish up against the Colts. So we'll see what Philip Rivers looks like. But so they're probably going to get 2-1. It's probably what they're going to be. Down the stretch would be my guess. Try to see how many games behind
What would that put them?
That put them at 11-6. If they finish out 2-1, so they'll be 11-6. The Jaguars are 10-4. So Jags have a game on them. The Jaguars' remaining schedule would be the Titans, the Colts, and the Broncos. Okay, so they probably ain't gonna rest their stars because they'll probably get beat by the Broncos, which would make the records tied. So yeah, maybe they won't. But at the same time, I'm still not convinced. Like Tyler Shuck's playing pretty decent, but I'm also not convinced that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
They're just not a good team. They're just not a good team
Neither
at all.
I think us, Saints, and Raiders are the worst 3 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Even
agree.
though technically Saints have 3 wins, which is shocking, but I still don't. I don't know what they do well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I do have a bad feeling we're going to be picking out like pick 6, where we win only 3 games again, where we only win 3, maybe 4 games. And I'm like, how do we win 3 games? We had the number 1 pick last year. We win 3 games this year. We're picking 6.
Yeah, and what I hate is that when you have as many holes as we do, man, even if you get a great player at 6, it just feels like we didn't. There's still so many holes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but now this is off-season videos and discussions that we're gonna have here. But we have over 100 million in cap space. Over a
Yeah, we do.
hundred million. And not just that, but that's with L'Jarius Sneed and Calvin Ridley on the team next year. And my personal prediction, as is everybody else that covers the team, not that I cover the team, I just talk about them, but people who cover the team said they don't think either of those two are making the roster. So we'll probably have close to 120, 125 million in
That
cap
is
space.
so much money.
Yeah, ridiculous amounts. That's one of the good things about being a sucky team, because I can remember back in the day, like I remember before the 2022 season. Nope, it was before the 2023 season. It was Rand Carthon's first off season. Remember, he had to cut a bunch of big name people. He had to cut Robert Woods, had to cut Taylor Lewan, had to cut, or somebody else, as the linebacker, Zach Cunningham, had to cut all 3 of those just to get under the cap. So the only good thing about not having any good players is we ain't got to worry about trying to get under the cap. In fact, we have so much stupid money that we could buy an entire team. Now, obviously, we don't need to go wild like Rand Carthon did the one year and hand out too much money to certain people. I still think we should be smart and give out some good, not long-term deals, like 2, maybe a third-year option type
I would
deals.
say though, if and I have to look at the free agency list, and I don't even want you to do that right now. Like this could be more of an off-season thing to do. But if there was a really good like wide receiver on the free agency or a really good edge rusher who usually goes, I think we can outbid anybody we want. And we need a
Absolutely.
receiver and we need an elite edge rusher and we need an elite receiver, but we could buy one. Basically, we could just basically tell them name the price.
Yeah, agreed. I remember having this conversation last year saying, with our second round pick, we have to either draft a wide receiver or an edge, and whatever one we're not drafting needs to be a free agency. Has to be a free agency addition. So, like, either draft Luther Burden, who was my boy, who was there for us, but either draft Luther Burden in the second round and then get a high priced edge in free agency, or get a edge in the second round and get a higher priced wide receiver. That's what I wanted. And I kind of feel the same way this year, except with our first round pick. Like, I want us to draft either edge or wide receiver, and whichever one we don't draft, we got to spend big in free agency. Because here's the thing, I will say, and obviously we'll do positional breakdowns and previews and reviews and whatever of every position in the offseason. Chim and Alec are fun stories. Like, it's cool. We got these 4th round guys who are, they're high up there on the roster and the depth chart. But in the end, they don't need to be our number 1 or 2 wide receiver. Like,
Yeah.
they need to be wide receiver 3 and 4. And with Calvin is probably going to be gone, we need a 1, and we honestly need a 2. So, like, even if we do get a nice pricey veteran in free agency, that shouldn't scare us away from going out and getting somebody in the first round if he's there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say, sadly, edge and receiver is something like we need 2, to be honest. You
Yeah.
don't have to do 2 elites, maybe, but we really need more talent there. And I think both sides, the edge and receiver, is very talentless.
Yeah. I mean, my guess is they're probably going to let Femi Oladejo like assume the starting role on one side, but then we're
That's
still going to.
such, he hasn't done nothing to deserve that, in my opinion. But
I mean, he kind of was the starter towards like his last couple games before he went out with injury. So with a whole nother off season to perfect his craft because of how raw he is, they're probably going to give him the start up one side, but we still absolutely need another edge rusher. And with Arden being gone, Dre Mount Jones being gone, Jihad Ward's going to be gone. Like, we're going to need an edge 3 and probably an edge 4 as well, unless you're really sold on Jalen Harrell. But that's an off-season discussion. I feel like that's what every video we're going to make until the season's over is basically going to be us starting to talk about something, go down a rabbit hole, and then we're like, well, but that's kind of a off-season video.
yeah, basically. Sorry.
Yeah, let's see, because I was scrolling on the old social media earlier today, and it was somebody who's not even Titans related. I don't remember who it was. It says, guys, everybody, Cam Ward is not as bad as his numbers show. If you watch his tape, you see plays just like this, where he just drops a dime and our wide receiver just drops it. And then last week against the 49ers, he does this amazing scramble drill and does a thing and puts it right in Chimere DK's chest, and he just drops it. And I'm just watching these. I'm like,
He did drop that.
he did drop the heck out of that. And I like Chim. I think Chim's kind of shut me up a little bit, because when we first picked him in the 4th round, everybody and their mom was like, he was not the best wide receiver still on the board. Why do we draft him with the... But he's won me over. That said, that play, he was bad.
To be honest, I have said this. I wanted it a little more, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I wanted a little more from Alec Iamano. But DK is a little bit better than I thought he would be. So
yeah, agreed. But I saw his picture. I don't remember who put it out. I'm looking at it right now because I screenshotted it. It says 2025 drop rate leaders, minimum of 50 targets. Number 1, Alec Manor, 20% drop rate. That's high.
that's really high.
That's 1 out of every 5. Was my math correct?
Why do you think he can't hold on to a ball?
Actually, here's the thing. Number 2 is Brian Thomas Jr. with 19.1. But yeah, still, I don't get it. Like, there is no reason for that. What do I know? But yeah, I agree. Alec Iamandor started off so stupid hot. His week 1 was good. I think he had a touchdown in week 2 and a touchdown in week 3. And he was our leading receiver, I think, in those games as well. I'm like, we got something in Alec. Everybody was saying it. He was a steal. And then he kind of came back down to earth a bit. I'm not out on him, but he started off really hot and then just kind of got colder. But Chim, we've talked about this in I think our last video. Chim did the opposite, where he started off a nothing burger on offense, and he was all right on special teams. But then ever since then, he's been ascending. We do like to throw him a lot of screens. Those need to stop, though, because our screens are awful.
We do way too many of those. Way too many of those.
Yeah, but on the plus side, Bo Hardigree and Mike McCoy are both going to be unemployed by the end of this season.
I would say that's another reason I just can't wait till the season's over. Is it just like when I look at this coaching staff, like none of these guys are gonna be here. Maybe Bones Foster, but like I'm looking at none of these guys are here. I just kind of just want to get them out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would say, and I said this earlier to you today, but I do. It's not like amazing, but I would say Cam Ward, I do think finally I see him playing better. He has his mistakes, don't get me wrong, but the Cam Ward that's playing now is to me a lot better than Cam Ward that started the season.
I completely
that's
agree.
all you can ask for is an improvement.
Yeah, I agree, because he had a spiel there. I don't even remember which games they were necessarily, where I'm just like, man, he's just putting together C- and D+ performances.
Yeah, exactly.
But now he's like C+ to B. Like, that's kind of where he's been lately.
Which is this is not everything, but a couple of 2+ touchdowns in a game.
2 games in a row, right?
Nice. And to be honest, 7 picks in how many games he plays is not bad for anybody, and it's definitely not bad for rookie. Now, granted, he had 2 drop picks last game, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. But I agree. He's ascending. If he could put together a nice, strong finish, if we can get up to like 16 touchdowns and like 8 or 9 picks on the season, I think that'll be a good finish for him. Yeah, especially if we keep scoring 24-ish points. It's another good thing. Love to see. Not that we make really previews anymore of games. So since we got you here, what do you think is going to happen Sunday against the Chiefs?
I think I can see this being a lower score game. I know we just said something about scoring 20 points, but Spags is still a good defensive coordinator. They still have a lot of talent. We're gonna have a hard job with Chris Jones. So I think, and Chris Jones is probably gonna eat up Tony Pollard. So I just feel like we're not going to do much on offense. But I feel like the offense is gonna be pretty dead. Especially with Minshew. But I just feel like Andy Reid's just good enough that he'll because our defense is bad. We've talked about our defense is
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like Andy Reid, I know he doesn't have the best tools to work with, but he's gonna look at our defense like, yeah, I could cook this thing up pretty good. So I
Yeah.
think we're gonna end up losing, even though will I be shocked if we won? No, but like if I was doing a prediction, I say we lose 23-13.
Gotcha. I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say we win. I know I alluded to it earlier. I feel like our conversation after the game is going to be basically nice to get another win for Cameron Ward. Bye bye, number one overall pick, though. Like that ship
Yeah.
has sailed. Which I'm always torn. Obviously, I want a number one pick so we can trade it away for bunches and bunches of picks. But if you're getting the number one pick, that means you're way more than one off season away from contending. So, like, if we actually do end up going 2-1 in the last 3 games, that means our young guys are maturing and they're getting better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I would say, man, it would have been nice to trade that number one pick. I think you could get a king's ransom with that, but to get all those picks and then you have that salary cap that we have, I feel like, man, we could make a lot of moves in a hurry.
It would have been a juicy off season
It would have been holy crap. Our team would be looking completely different.
in a good way because, like,
Yeah,
there's actually this never happens with me because I look at all of Jim Wyatt's camp notes throughout the entire offseason. Like I read those articles. So I know our roster. But this year, sometimes there's people playing, especially on the defense, where I'm like, who the heck is that? Just like these made up Madden created names. I'm like, you're not a real person. What are you doing playing, bub? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like we're a bad team already, but then our bad players are getting hurt and being replaced by even worse players.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a couple more injuries, they'd be asking you to come out there and play, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a little too old, maybe a little too short, and
Definitely too ugly.
definitely too ugly. Let's say with this nose of mine, that's all you'd see coming out of that old helmet. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to say before we get on out of here? We just wanted to touch bases because again, we've been MIA for quite literally a month because we like how many times can you say, "Oh, Titans lost, we suck." So we have been MIA. We decided we just need to come back and show you a little something. So, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No, just tighten up, I guess,
Yeah,
and
I guess.
go Cam Ward.
Yeah,
Score. I want us to lose every game 27-30. You know what I mean?
that would be fantastic.
It would
Maybe
be.
even like a 37-41
Why
thriller.
not?
That's kind of what I was hoping with. I was hoping Patrick Mahomes would play, and they drop about 41, but Cam Ward actually goes toe to toe, and then ends in a nice dramatic fashion. Like I would like it where it's like 4 minutes left. Cam leads us down the field, scores, touchdown, we're winning, and then our useless defense I don't care anything about just allows Patrick Mahomes in like 3 plays to get in field goal range to kick a field goal and win the game. And I'd be like, I like it a lot.
Yeah, me
But
too.
but alas, we're going against Mr. Gardner Minshew, who has a winning record against the Titans as a starter. But that's a whole other story. So yeah. With that being said, since we don't have an outro, you're gonna have to just watch me hit end stream and just go until the video feed finally cuts off. So I guess that's all I got. So tighten up, peace out, and all that jazz.